Hi everybody. Alright, let's get into today's stream. Took no trades yesterday. Felt good not to take anything, honestly. On days like that, yesterday were days that I used to just trade my account, expecting something to happen, trying to push something. But now I basically just sit down and I'm in complete peace with not taking any trade setup. But yeah, we just got our market open, so we're gonna go over what we're seeing here in the market in a little bit and what happened here in this price action. But we'll go over a little bit of yesterday first. And we sold off yesterday, and I was looking for this buy to possibly flip around to get back up towards these highs, but we never got that. It actually bought up in the PM session, and unfortunately I didn't trade the PM session yesterday. Just based on my personal life with my other business and whatnot. So my life really just revolves around just trading. My trading life revolves around just the AM session mainly. And then PM session, it's hit or miss. If there's like FOMC or something, I'll plan my business around trading PM session. But as of yesterday, I didn't trade the PM session. There was a nice buy set up within here. After we traded up higher, we came down lower. We had SMT with the other indices, and we had this 5-minute inverse. So once we closed that 5-minute inverse, we had this order block. So waiting for that order block to get tested into, and then we inverse in the lower time frame to then trade up on this 5-minute leg. There was another setup within here. So they take the buy within there to trade up to this high, and then up to this high, and then there we go. We traded down below this low here. It's a lower low. ES had equal lows. So that shifted up to then take price up into this high here. So there's actually a 2-minute inverse within this area for price to buy up into that high. So that 2-minute for value gap, trade it back down. And then there's a 1-minute inverse in here to trade up towards a 20-point high up within there. Excuse me. But the first trade was within here up to there. Then there was this buy that was within here up to here. And then we had SMT divergence at these highs. And then there was also a 1-minute inverse for a short. So I was saying for this buy over here, there's the 1-minute buy. You can buy it right here. Trade it up to this high or wherever you want to trade it to, your 20 points. But then there's this 1-minute inverse right here. Traded up, came back down. So stop would be down here, and then it moved to here after we took out this short-term high. So then we ended up trading up towards this high within here. And then over here we had the SMT. With the other indices, we had this 1-minute inverse, and that's a green light to take this trade right here to then sell it down towards these relative equal lows down to this low, and also when ES hit their equal lows. But going into right now, what do we have in price action? We're having price trade down lower. We had SMT, and then we traded up towards these highs after selling off, after taking out huge internal liquidity down within here. So this overall range that we have, we traded down into a discount, and then we started shifting up towards this high and also looking up to here. So I want to look to take a buy today up to these relative equal highs now. And what we had an inverse 1-minute here within the, it was like the pre macro. So it was like 850. The macro really started. But right here, we had our 1-minute inverse from this fair value gap. We inversed that. And then we traded into the fair value gap, and then we continued up to our 20 points. As you can tell, we reached our 20 points at market open, and now we came up and we just made relative equal highs right here. So I'm going to be paying attention to this today. So that's the buy side. And yes, we took out the buy side here, and then we inversed this 1 minute, and then we traded down after this inverse closed, like 17.5 points, but that's not my trading plan to take a trade like that. So I want to see what actually happens if we have these equal highs stay intact, because it's always narrative and time. So like it's time, the narrative, and what can we get within, hang on, password's not right. There we go, we should be good now. There we go. So like time, like what time is it? So it's a good time to trade. And we have our narrative, our overall narrative has been bullish. Okay. And now we just base our trades based on the narrative. Does this 15-minute now reject here and give us some setup to go up to this high? Or do we continue to trade down below, come down into this discount before we possibly get something up to here? Because if we do keep going bearish within here with bearish SMT, I want to target this low and then possibly lower. But if we decide to flip around here and go bullish, I want to take the buy up to here. It could buy now, it could sell off now and then buy later, or it could sell off and keep selling off and not come back up here for weeks. But it's possible. So just need to play the cards that I'm being dealt right now from the market. So I'm paying attention to all of that. And that's what I want to focus on. Someone double check the news today. Yeah, we have someone speaking, FOMC member, at noon today. That could cause the AM session to be choppy, but if there's a setup, I'll take the setup. At the end of the day, it's like, if there's a setup there, I want to take advantage of the setup itself. So I'll be paying attention to that. All right, so I'm looking at this discount that we're now within. So we're trading up and we're pulling back down. So I want to see how price wants to react within this area. If we get a reversal within here, up above this 2-minute inverse, this could send price up towards these relative equal highs that are up there. So I really want to pay attention to that. So if I go to all three of these here, I really want to see where we're at in the bigger picture now. So 4-hour time frame, we're going bullish order flow, obviously, and then we have these relative equal highs that are sitting up within here. And I don't really want to go against this bullish order flow, even though we have bearish SMT. We have bearish SMT at the highs, but we pulled back down into the discount, and we have bullish SMT now. So we're overall bullish anyway. So I don't really want to go against this bullish trend that we have until it's really broken. So I really want to keep paying attention to what we're getting here in this price action. So paying attention to what are we getting. I want to pay attention to the SMT that we're getting. So we have SMT at these wicks here. So we have it's all made the lower low here, but we have a lower low on this wick, higher low here. So I'm paying attention to that. 15-minute time frame. We have that same setup there. And notice how, let's actually go to the 30-minute. Notice how we traded down into this deeper fair value gap here, but we didn't on ES. So ES could be targeting this high that's up within here before the other ones even get up there. And that's possible. And we're taking out this internal liquidity here on YM. So I want to see what that wants to do with this price action here. So nothing's telling me it's ready to really rip, because we gotta keep in mind that we traded up through all of pre-New York, and we took out the buy side from this internal here, and then we came out and we took out the sell side. And if the other ones are taking out buy side now, let's say ES and YM are taken out buy side, this could send price on NQ down lower, back down into here before we get another reversal, or even lower down in here, and then we get a reversal to these highs. So I want to just pay attention to what's actually really happening with this order flow and putting it all together, and not forcing anything until it's like really clear to me. So that's really like what I'm looking for in this price action. Just waiting to see what we're going to get within this area now. So we go down to the 1 minute here. We can see what we're getting. Notice how we're coming up above this high, the short-term high here, but we made a lower high here on NQ. If this 15-second gets inversed right here, we're going to see if this wants to bring it lower or not. I'm not trading the 15-second. I'm just observing what we're getting. So now we just inverse this 15-second. So it's likely that we could reach up to this high here and then continue back up to these relative equal highs that are up here, just because we inversed this one and reacted off this one. And we're already in a discount. But nothing's like, I don't want to trade and scalp that 15-second. So I'm just paying attention to what we're getting everywhere else. So we broke through this high here, and we're continuing to break through that high as we're making lower lows here. But I'm just going to keep observing what we're getting. Okay, let's see. I want to pay attention because we traded into this discount like I was saying. I want to pay attention to this 3-minute candle here and really see what we can get from that 3-minute. I never marked up my opening range yet either. So we closed here and we opened here. And we traded down mostly into this opening range. So I want to keep that in mind as well. Here's that opening range that we're in, and we're playing off of 50% here. So we'll see. Do we stay below it or get back up above it? So I want to pay attention to that. I'm going to get the fib off my screen because it's just way too much information. I like having the 30-minute inverse here so we can see how this inverse actually acts on price. And then we also have the 8:30 and then the midnight. So the midnight opened here. We traded down, came up, and we're trading back down into this. So I want to see how we're continue to play this. So if we inverse this 5-minute, that'd be nice. And also the 3-minute as well. So obviously we're not getting the 3-minute inverse yet. We're still rejecting this area that we're in now, currently. At the same time, we're working up towards this high here on ES, but we're staying down lower here. So if we hit this high here on ES, we could possibly see some bearish movement to the sell side. So that would actually bring in like SMT from higher high, lower high here. That would even be on the 5-minute SMT as well. So we're actually just about to blow right through it. So I'm actually happy to see that. There we go. We broke right above that. So that's higher time frame bearish SMT. Now the question is, do we want to keep blowing through it, or do we want to sell off? Because if we keep blowing through it, this could just be the Six Sister approach where this just has to catch up. And I would need to see this 3-minute close up above here and then give me even more price action on top of that. But until then, we could just end up consolidating here, pulling back, and then using this 30-second as an inverse to short down. But I wanted to keep paying attention. Like, we're about to close this inverse right now, just like that. So maybe from here, we short down to here towards these lows again. But I'm not confident enough to take that. It's not the highest probability, so I want to just pay attention to still see what we're getting within here. So what's bringing me to that bias that we took out the high here on ES, and we made a lower high here, and now we just inverse this 30-second to short down. I'm not shorting this because we got all these equal highs here, but I'm just going to observe to see if this actually does follow through to bring it towards this low down here, and then possibly lower before we get another possible reversal back up towards these equal highs up here. If it's high probability, I'll know it. But I wouldn't necessarily say this is high probability. So this has already moved 10 points, so a $400 risk on that, you'd already be up 200. Stops should be at break even at this point anyway. That wouldn't even be a $400 risk. 400 would be up there. So it'd be a $300 risk. You'd be up 200 already, just from that 30-second inversion right here. So about to hit the 20 points. But if I was in this trade, I'd cut it right now because we took out the swing low. Well, we're still higher up here. So that would be taken out right there. So anywhere between a $300, $400 profit on that. And then if you're really looking for deeper price action, this could go even lower. So this could really just rip down towards these higher time frame lows, which would be 47 points. That was all based on this 30-second inverse right here. That just ripped right down through. Wow, that's pretty cool. It's just hard because these are going higher and NQ is going lower. These are like not favorable conditions. So if I go over to DXY, we can really see what we're getting right now. So we go to the 4-hour. Let's actually go to the daily. We took out the swing high up in here. We took out these highs. So it isn't surprising that we're pulling back. So if we continue to pull back towards these lows now, towards these lows, down within here, we could see prices continue to rise. But since we're pulling back here and we're not really getting movement up here on NQ, it's kind of diverging itself. So when this pulls back, they should go up, but NQ's coming down. Yeah, it's looking like this is going to continue down lower towards this low. So if we hit this low, I want to pay attention to what we can get. Maybe we get a buy set up if we hit that low. I'm not interested in a buy until we hit this low here. But even then, we could keep going lower, but I just want to pay attention to what we get if we hit this low. Yeah, it's a nice setup. There we go. That was over a 3-to-1 on that trade. About 14.5 point risk, and then we had 47, almost 48 point take profit. It went over 50 points though, but that was nice. Just a little 30-second setup. Just based on this inverse, and then ES taking the high. So that was pretty good. Looks like we're just gonna keep going too. If this 5-minute close like this, that's absolutely disgusting. So yeah, what makes me not want to take this buy now is, I was saying, like, we just took out these highs up here, but we're still just consolidating in this fair value gap. So I wonder if we're just gonna reject this and then continue back up. We got 7 minutes left in this candle. I would need to see this 1 minute inverse here to go higher. I don't like that 30-second because there's another fair value gap there. So this 1 minute would have to be inverse if I was going to go long. I also don't like these equal lows here on ES. We took out the high, so I'm just going to observe this. If this does inverse, I just want to observe it. I don't even think I'd really want to be in something like this. I know we're playing out this breaker here. So low shift breaker. Yeah, more liquidity up there. If we inverse this, I'm just going to observe this. Like I said, I want to watch, see how this plays out. It's like I was saying, we still got the equal lows down here. But this could just rip up towards these highs before selling off. That's really what could happen. So we took out the lows. SMT. Wick SMT here. Barely. So we never closed that inverse, so that's invalid anyway. If it goes up without me, that's fine. Few minutes left in the 15-minute. This would be a mean wick too. Like this 15-minute could close like up within here, or even like here, and the next one opens in like 5 minutes. We pull back down, and then we just get some accumulation on a lower time frame to rip right back up. That'd be like my ideal setup. I'd like to see something like that. That'd be nice. We gotta wait a little bit longer. So that 30-second inverse sent it all the way down. We left all these relative equal highs up here. So now we're getting a pullback actually into here. I'd like to see these equal lows taken here on ES, but we'll see how that plays out. So we're holding this area still. We got this volume imbalance here in the 1 minute after taking out this short-term low. We're just back into another opening range that we're in here. Not taking nothing because this 1 minute could still inverse within here and then send it lower. Because look at the 5 minute. We just rejected there. So now we have a new 5 minute. It wouldn't surprise me to pull back down and leave a wick some sort. What I still like about this is if this does close bullish in the next 4 minutes, this looks like it could sell off using this breaker here, so. If we do close bullish on that, I wouldn't be surprised to... I wouldn't be surprised to see ES keep going higher up into here. But if we just keep pulling back, we just keep pulling back. That's really all we can do. So if we get this 1 minute inverse now, which we're about to get a 30-second inverse. Yeah, we just inverse this 30-second. I just saw this quick. I want to pay attention. Maybe this 30-second does keep sending us down. Because we have more SMT at these wicks here. Because this could really just keep sending price down lower. If it really wants to keep going bearish, this could just rip down right here. So that'd be another 30-second setup. We had this one, and now we have this one. Because if we were to go bullish... Okay, we just took out this swing low. So that would have to be a break even already. If we were in that short. I'm personally not. Because we took out the swing low here, and we're hitting a midnight for a bullish PD array. So this, if this does want to go bullish, it's going to reject here. And we could inverse this with the SMT that we have. Yeah, so if I was personally in this, I'd be at break even. But I'm not in it. Or stop loss would be right here. But now that we hit this fair value gap, it'd actually be right here. So rejected that fair value gap. I'm just tape reading. I'm not like taking anything that, because nothing's really high probability to me yet. I'm just waiting for a high probability setup. Okay, so yeah, that would be break even, stop loss, tie stop, basically a break even trade if I was in that. But I'm not. I was observing because it's not the highest probability in my opinion. So new 2 minute candle just opened. We're very bearish here. It's looking like we're going to keep selling off, which isn't surprising because we took out higher time frame highs. We have obviously bearish SMT at the highs. Depending on a re-entry on this, this could still be valid for a short. But we just took these highs, you can see. But we took these lows, so for pattern, like narrative is always over the pattern, even though there is a short pattern here. The narrative, I see these equal highs, and I see that we pulled down into a discount. We have bullish SMT. We also have bearish SMT, but the narrative I think can go either way right now. But I would prefer a buy because of all the discounts we are in within this area. So I would like to wait for a buy to present itself as an opportunity because we're getting a lot of bullish SMT within here on these lower time frames. Obviously they don't mean shit until like something actually presents. But going short here, if you're bearish, if your plan's saying it's bearish, then this is probably not a bad short. But since my plan says if we take out liquidity, I can't go short like right away within here. Even though it does look like a setup, it's I'll have a higher probability when I see something that's very clean to me. So personally, it's best for me just to wait here. There we go, short down. It just continues down. Cool. So yeah, I did use that inverse here on the 1 minute here, also the 30-second. Continued to play that. If you're still more bearish than bullish. There's bearish order flow on the way down. You use that SMT, these highs here on the 30-second, send it down. It's easier to see it now in hindsight, obviously. Very similar to yesterday where it just sold off, didn't really give me a setup because I was looking for a long, but maybe a similar thing where we buy up this PM session. But yeah, just going over really what we saw here. We traded up here, traded back down into a discount, and then we bought back up, which was, this was a nice pretty leg higher. But obviously I wasn't on the charts at 7:30, so I didn't get to take this buy. The shot price up into here. We came up to this high here, and we took out the other high. So we have bearish SMT over here. Okay. Bearish SMT. And we're continuing to move lower, even though we are in a discount within this range here. So if I was to take a short right there, I would have broke my rules of shorting when there's liquidity above. But at the same time, we got to realize that we just took the highs here on ES, and then we shifted lower. We could have used that 30-second IFVG to take price down below this low, 20 points, and then this low. And then obviously, we're just trading down a lot farther now, down into potentially this low and this fair value gap. So I want to continue to watch to see how price really just works this discount within here. I'm not trying to buy. I'm not trying to short anything within here. I'm just trying to watch price to see where do we get to and where is it actually going, and do we consolidate and then give us something better? Do we consolidate and get a retracement up and then a continuation of a sell-off? I don't know. But I'm just needing more information within here. I don't want to try to catch a short that's already moving without me. Even though I did mark up this area here for potential short, but since we had the bullish SMT, it invalidates that. And with those equal highs, that bullish SMT, after taking out this low, is not high probability for me to short. So yes, if we took out the highs here and we got something like that up within here, I would have shorted that, but we never took out the highs here on NQ. So today it looks like I might just wait on whatever presents itself today. So like, where are we now? We traded back down. Traded back down. We obviously got a 4-hour low here. 4-hour wick low. A fair value gap low. You can measure this 4-hour fair value gap too. We just hit 50% of that 4-hour fair value. No, for the wick. Jesus. The wick. So that 4-hour wick, we just hit 50% of that. So I want to pay attention to that as well. And we're trading into this discount here too. So I want to see, do we continue to sell off? It's now Tuesday. Okay, keep that in mind. It's now Tuesday. So Monday open here. Tuesday, if we pull down on this Tuesday, maybe the rest of the week can be bullish. That's what I'm looking at. Or if we go higher today, maybe the rest of the week is going to be bearish. So I want to keep that in mind for higher time frame narrative as well. Trade it up here. So we got all regular order flow in this. Trade it down below the 30-second inversion here. We hit the low down here, so this could possibly. So we hit this low here in this discount. So we hit this discount within here. Keeping that in mind, we hit that 50% of that 4-hour wick. It's looking like we could inverse something within here. 15 second could be inversed. I'm not trading this inverse. This is just a little bit too risky for me. Because I don't need to take anything if it's not clear. I don't need to fully take anything. I'd rather preserve my account and take something that's a really high probability setup instead of breaking my rules. So lower low. There you go. We get the wick SMT, we get the lower low here. We'll see how this really wants to play out, you know? He's got a nice bullish closure, retesting this breaker. Close this 30-second inverse here. Trading down, giving us wick SMT. I'm not a huge fan of this setup, but we'll see how this plays out. If we were to look for something like this, let's say we're going to go 20 points from here, based on this 30-second. Like, what are we looking for, is the question. 50. So this is all we're really looking for. Get a 1.6 to 1. And something like that. We're overall bearish, so you're not trying to stick with it for a long time. If it even does want to go. You know, like, that's the real question. Like, now, like, look at the highs. We got bearish SMT here. Lower high. Well, we got bullish SMT too, so. Just watching this price action. This is not something I'd want to be in on eval or a live account. This is just something, like, just to watch here. Notice how we couldn't break up above this black line, which is that 4-hour fair value gap low. I was having a hard time doing that. We're trading back down below this 30-minute inversion. So this could actually send price down lower, down to these equal lows. So we just hit that low there. Yep, notice how we're so bearish and why that's exactly why we should not be taking a trade like that. We still have that bullish SMT. See how we're making this lower low here? Making a higher low here. Now we just tap down into this 5-minute low here. On algorithmic terms right there. A 5-minute open and we started selling off. So 4 minutes left. This could give us a wick. Or it could not. So we really want to see here, like, do we inverse any of this now? Like, does this 30-second now get inversed? Is the real question. still haven't had that 30-second inverse yet. Would that close the 1 minute? So if that inverse, we wouldn't want to see that gap here tapped yet. It's about to hit the gap, so. Well, maybe we're not going to hit that gap first. Still didn't inverse that. So still want to pay attention to what we're getting within here. Second for value gap. We hit this low. We're still making lower lows here. So now the 5 minute just took out this low here. This being a little bit difficult because now we're trading lower here, but now we're trading higher here on these 1 minute wicks. So if we were to go long, we'd want to see this 1 minute here get inverse now. So you'd really want to wait for something like that. If that was to get inversed to go long. And then we wouldn't want to see it close back down below that. But like, what's the overall narrative telling us? This 4 hour just opened and we started trading lower right away. We have this long-term high, we came up here, we took out internal liquidity, hit the order block. We're overall bullish. Coming into this discount again, this is the candle that took liquidity as well. So it is possible to reverse here, but it's also possible to keep going and sell off to this low because we took out the external high here from this range here. Took out the internal and then the external. So it goes from external to internal. So it's likely we could hit that, but it's also likely that we could have some type of pullback first. So notice how this is all selling off. DXY is selling off, but these are continuing to go opposite. Like these are selling off, but this is just consolidating. This market is not efficient right now. In honest words, like this market is not efficient at all. It's looking like it's really wanting to seek these lows down here. That's like really what I'm seeing. Now we got this 3 minute order block we got to get through. Go saying this 1 minute inversion is a really strong point that we got to get through if we're going to go bullish. I know we just closed a 30-second inversion right here. This 30-second inversion got closed. But the 1 minute, we're just tapping into it and leaving it. So like since we're in the middle of this range here, it's kind of hard to trust this area. So you want to see this 1 minute close. Bullish up above this. So now, look at the discount that we're in. We're in that discount that we were just talking about. Higher low. Right here. So we got a lot of SMT. This is valid to go for 20 points here. I don't like that we just took out that high though. So I want to pay attention to this trade right within here. It's 10:16. Okay, we just took out this high. Looking like we can go a little bit higher here. So we had equal highs here. The question is, how does this one play out? There's just something about it I really don't like, is that we're just selling off so fast. It's just been such a steep sell-off here. There's just something about it that I'm not a huge fan of. It does look like it's going to rocket up, but we'll see. So yeah, we just took out that high. Got one more high here. Okay, we just tapped that 5-minute high as well. This isn't that high probability. So just want to wait here. Let's keep waiting, see what we get. Probably ripped to that 20 points right there. Yeah, I just missed that 20 points. Yeah, because if you can really see, like, the hardest part about this one was we're just so bearish right now. And yes, we had our hard time from narrative of possibly going bullish. We're in the discounts and all that fun stuff. And we had the possibility for a reversal for that 4-hour wick to like come in. As you can see now, it's actually happening here. So now we just broke structure on this. Now we have a pretty steep order block here. And now we're getting SMT in these wicks. This looks like it's going to fly right up now. Wow. Yeah, it looks like it's going to fly right up. Tap that 5-second for value gap. Gone. Yeah, trades like these can just leave without you. Yeah, it's gone. It's probably gonna go. We're dipping into this fair value gap now. We're in this 5-second fair value gap. We're off. We're probably leaving. Yeah, it's just hard to want to really fully long something like this. Because looking at this higher time frame, we traded up, traded back down. We got these highs up here, but we have these relative equal lows, and we took the external, so we should go to internal, which would be in here, and then we get more external down there. So I personally would like to see ES come down one more time and hit this low, and that would possibly bring us down one more time here on NQ, or we just consolidate here because NQ already hit like these lows and we're in this order block. So it's really just a matter of like trying to figure out like what's really about to happen here. Like what's the overall narrative of this price? I haven't taken anything out of my eval, so I'm still waiting on that. There's something about it that I don't like for the long, that I'm okay with just sitting out of. Mental capital is more important than anything. Okay, I see you now. So we had SMT at the lows. So we came down into this discount. We had SMT at the lows here. Like big time. One there, and here. So I want to see how this wants to continue from here. If I was to take, if this is going to buy up, I'd really want to get it from like the low versus like the high. And like looking at this, we're getting more information on the chart. Yeah, conflicting biases. I can make a bias like, oh, we came up to this high, we have SMT, we have external, and now we have this low, so we should be hitting this. We're like, we're already so bearish here, we're hitting this for a value gap, we should just keep trading down lower. So like I have that, but I also have like the bias of like, oh, we got these equal highs here, we came into a discount. So I can make a bias for both sides, and that's when you know it's like a lower probability setup. So if we're going to target these lows down here, which is possible, what would I need to see to continue the short? I'd need to see this 1 minute inverse, possibly that 2 minute, and even this 3 minute. This 3 minute inverse is bearish. That could be a sign that we're going to keep going down lower. So we have a lower, so we now have a higher high, a lower high here. So we inverse that. We inverse this 30-second. Now we're tapping this fair value gap. It's looking like we're going to short down now. So gun to my head, we're going to continue to short down from this bearish SMT here on the 30-second. This fair value gap wasn't touched when this one was. So we shouldn't come back up above this fair value gap now. So we should be shorting right from here. Down towards, I would say, these lows and lower. So 2020 would be right there. Probably 1 minute closure by now. 10 seconds left on that. So where would the next low be is the real question. Next low would be, you say right there. We just really don't know how far it's going to go. But I would expect ES to hit at least this low here, 50 level. And if not lower. So there we go. We just hit the low there. Wow. All right. That's pretty nice. Notice how that all just played out here in the 30-second. Mental capital is the most important thing. We had retracement, we had bullish SMT, but I didn't like the buys just because of, even though it's a setup, the overall narrative was bearish. So it's kind of hard to want to take anything, especially if we're just going to take out the swing high and then come back lower. So like that didn't even move towards, I don't know, like let's say, even move a full 20 points. So that would have been break even anyway. But now that we're taking this low, we still left these lows here. So that's giving us SMT. The only thing keeping me bullish in this right now is that we have this higher time frame candle that took liquidity. I would like to see this low swept, but if we sweep this low, we're probably going to keep going lower. But based on just we're getting this accumulation now, and now we're getting bullish SMT here, We're in the higher time frame PD array. If we flip this 1 minute, this could go bullish. We just got a bullish 30-second now. So it's a bullish 30-second inversion right here. We just took out the short-term high. I'm trying to get us on my chart. I want to watch this 1 minute inverse. If we inverse this 1 minute, I want to see what we get here in this price action. So that's actually not bad. So overall, what we're getting here, we traded into a discount, we hit this low again, SMT, and now we're just getting our accumulation within here, and it's looking like we're about to inverse this 1 minute, and we just inverse this 30-second. So now, I'm trying to really get down into like, what are we getting here in this price action? I'm not seeing everything I need to see to get in this trade here. So I'm just sit back and relax and just watch, see what we get. If we get confirmation, cool. If not, well. And like that 15-minute right there, wick that, and then it just pulls right back down. But we were stalling in this area. And we can't seem to get up above that 4-hour and stay up above it. Trade it into a discount here. I want to keep that in mind. That this does have a lot of potential just to reverse here. Got this 3-minute rejection block. I want to see how that plays out. We never hit this 5-minute for value gap here. We hit this volume imbalance. I'm still not a fan. I'd want to stay out of this still. If we just rip right back up from here, that'd be nuts, dude. See, we still didn't inverse that 1 minute yet. We also don't have the SMT and the wicks I like to see. So, take everything off, make a lower low here. Okay, yes, we got the wick SMT, okay, whatever. Like we make a higher low, whatever. At the wick here. So this 2 minute could get inverse like that. Now we're hitting this 5-minute fair value gap. Yeah, dude, I'm staying out of this one. I don't have a good feeling. I'd much rather just wait on this and not even be in it. I'd rather just miss out. Even though this looks like it just keep ripping. Like we just wicked that, traded down. No, this could just keep ripping. But the whole overall narrative is just fucked. If anything, that 30-second inversion there, entry up here, that'd be the best bet at this point, but we'll see. Not get anything I want to take in the eval yet. I took a paper buy on that one, but stops are at break even if they want to get hit at break even. But we'll see. We'll see. So this 1 minute volume imbalance here. It's looking like we're gonna keep going, honestly. At this swing high here. Man, there's always gonna be something you don't like about it, which is this hitting this fair value gap, but I just want to keep monitoring to see how that fair value gap plays out. So we got this 1 minute fair value gap. But this 2 minute fair value gap is pretty nice. Looks like we're gonna close up above it. If we close up above it, it's looking like we're gonna keep ripping. Clone it. We'll close up above it here. We should be targeting this high. We should probably even go higher. Just like that. So we had that 2 minute closure above that inversion right here, and now we're trading up to this high, it looks like. Here we go. I did those 20 points in that 2 minute candle closure. That thing never really came in drawdown. not bad. Yo, what's up? Just seeing you join there. Maximum time. I mean, it just depends. Like, I'll hop on. I'll show you when I get on. I'm usually on the charts from like today, 8:50, and like I don't know, usually like 11:15, sometimes 11:30. It depends if there's like really a setup. Like if the chart's looking good, I'll stay to like 11:30 or so, and if we might get a setup a little bit later on. So I don't know, I'd say about 2.5 hours. That's really about it. But yeah, yesterday I didn't take any trades, even though there was some good setups in the PM session. Journaled those trades in my notebook, but I didn't get to trade because the other business I run. But I journaled all of them within here. Just watching all of these setups. There's like, I would say 2 A+ setups, and then there's like 1 A setup. So yeah, this short was nice at the end. We had a nice long within here, and then the other long wasn't as nice, but this was okay. This long within here. That's just PM session. In the morning, I didn't take anything. Just like today, I haven't taken anything yet. My eval. I took a paper trade on the paper accounts, up like 2,300 on the paper, but that's, and obviously it's not real money, so I don't really care about that. But I was just observing this 30-second inversion gap here. The reason I didn't take it on the eval is because it wasn't fully to my rules. So like when I trade, I look for, number one is liquidity, and I saw liquidity here, and we never hit the liquidity. So rule number one would be broken. But you could say that we had liquidity within here. So we took that liquidity, and then we're just trading in the internal range. Since we also hit this low here in the 15-minute here. So we came into this liquidity down below here in our overall range of a discount, as we talked about yesterday. So trade into a discount in the fib. And I was just watching. I was really just tape reading this and just seeing, okay, did we get a 1-minute inversion closure? We never got that until up here. But the 2-minute was the nicest one. So once we close this 2-minute, let's see right here. We close this 2-minute inversion. We closed it right here. And that's green light to enter the trade, taking it 20 points. And it hit 20 points exactly and started trading back down. And that's what I took on just the paper account. And like I was saying, I didn't take it on the eval because I just didn't like this overall bearish order flow. We hit external. We should work towards internal of this range here on ES. So I want to see this internal get taken and then a nice shift possibly higher. And then we hang out here on NQ. Maybe we consolidate more in here. Maybe come down a little bit lower. But then a buy up to this high here at some point. And notice how we're making a... I also didn't like it because when this inversion closed here, we were making a higher high into this 5-minute fair value gap on YM. So that was just telling me that it's better for me just to stay out of this trade and just watch and see what happens with price. So yeah, that's what just happened to me here this morning. Didn't take anything on the eval, as you can tell. I haven't taken any trades on it. But the practice account, I was trading the practice account, so profit on that one. But still, it's just nothing. My mental capital is more important than my trading capital, so I'd rather wait because now we got these equal highs up here. This does look like a potential short down, but still, we took liquidity here. I wouldn't want to short this. We're in a discount. I just need to see this liquidity taken. I'd rather wait for ES to give liquidity, and then we'll go from there. if that even happens. If ES breaks back up above this high here, this, and we have more SMT, is probably, it could be possibly bullish. But yeah. Nah, about 2.5 hours is how long I stay on the charts. But like really, like my trading time isn't that long. So like my trading time, let's say 9:30. I usually don't trade 9:30, but let's just say 9:30 market open to like 11:30. So just 2 hours really. And then, but in reality, most of my trades set up 9:45 till let's say 11:15. So within an hour and a half, this time frame here is when most of my trades will set up. Like 90% of the time, from here to here. So as you can tell today, this was a potential buy here on the 30-second inverse to go higher. That went 40 points. $400 risk, you're making 800 here. Like, yeah, but like I was saying earlier, I didn't really like just all the price action that we've been getting. But yeah. So I'm going to record this in my notebook right now. Because I'm waiting for the macro to start. It starts in like 6 minutes. So I'm waiting to see if we get anything with the macro. Like maybe we just consolidate here and maybe we shift and get an order block, look for value gap, and maybe we have like an inverse up here or something. And then we inverse that and then we go long for these equal highs. We'll see. Or if we trade lower here, take out the low, and then we get an inverse, I'll take the inverse long here up to these highs. As long as it's before this time frame over here. That makes any sense. So we'll see what we get. But I just want to record this in my notebook just to have it. Because like I go back and I'll look at my notes and just to keep refreshing my brain about like what I need to see in the market. At the moment, I only watch. I still trade my. Yeah. So you only watch this strategy? Yeah. Hey man, yeah, whatever works for you. And if you want to try to like look into this, just look up. Personally, I would just learn SMT divergence and also like inversion for value gaps from ICT. Like that's, and like watch his stuff. So I'm recording all this stuff right now in my notes. I did have emotions of like FOMO coming in on this one when I wanted to take this in my eval, but I kept telling myself there's just something I don't like about it. Like I could have taken it down here, but after it got up into here, I still had the FOMO because I'm like, oh god, I'm right, but it's okay, I don't need to be in it. And being able to like hold myself back from these emotions that I used to feel like all the time has been just like such a blessing, because I used to just give into the emotions and just ruin the account. Whereas now I have like a lot more patience and emotional awareness that I'm able to, I wouldn't say, it's not controlling the emotions, it's to direct the emotion into what's actually going on. So like when I feel that like fear of FOMO or whatever kicking in, or fear of like a loss, or fear of like, or just like the urge of wanting to take a trade, my systems tell me that I need to go to the higher time frame and focus and go over what you're seeing in the chart on the higher time frame, on the like have it be like a 4 hour to a 1 hour to like a 5 minute. So like as long as I keep sticking with that process, the emotions aren't going to take advantage of me. If that makes any sense. So what happened here is that we traded down low, and I'm just going to go over this as I put it in my notes. We traded down lower into this higher time frame discount and this fair value gap. We left these lows here, but we were hitting this rejection in this order block because I think this was a high probability order block because of it taking out the swing low here to the left. So candles that take liquidity can act as a strong order block if it ever gets traded back down and into. I just didn't like this because we have been ranging and we took out external liquidity and we should be reaching towards internal liquidity, which would be here. So I'm paying attention to that. But we did have a lower time frame accumulation here in the 5 minute with bullish SMT with YM. So that could be a catalyst for us to start to trade away towards the internal liquidity, which we did hit the internal liquidity here on ES and also on YM. And once we did that, we're just consolidating now. And now we're waiting for our macro to kick in to see if the macro really wants to give us some price action. If it doesn't, then obviously we just don't take another trade in the morning, or at least I don't. I was looking at the short this morning as well from this. So when we hit the high here on ES, we were making a retracement here on NQ, and then we traded lower down below this 30-second inversion. And for anyone that didn't see me like call this out live, you can go back into the recording, and I was saying this. If you go back to 9:46 a.m., you can see I was saying, okay, it looks like this is going to be a short down to these lows based on this 30-second inverse from to here, 20 points, and then possibly even this low down here, which we did. So this is a complete short all the way down. And I was also looking at this one, but this one had bullish SMT after taking out a low. So sticking to my rules, it's not in my rules to trade the patterns for pattern's sake. It's to have the overall narrative. So the overall narrative here could have gone 50-50. So I missed out on this short, even though I thought it was a possibility, but I'm okay with that. All right, we got our macro just starting. So what are we getting here in the higher time frame? We got a 5 minute fair value gap here that we just inversed. So let's see, does this 5 minute continue to send price down lower? Or do we keep consolidating here and break above it and then continue back towards these relative equal highs? So that's a real question. So I'm paying attention to what we're getting within here. So we made this discount. I'm watching this 5 minute gap here. Just because it inverses doesn't mean it's going to play out. Got to have the overall narrative. Like, what is the market telling you? You know, so the market's telling me we traded down to a discount here. Discount. We're hitting this rejection, but we could continue down lower below this low. The 4 hour time frame is just consolidating. This looks like shit on ES. NQ just pulling back into this wick. So what does this wick tell us? We can measure out this wick too, just to get like an area of where we are in the wick. We have 50% of the wick, we didn't hit the 75% yet. I'm just gonna leave this wick on here. Let's just go to 50% here. Leave that on there. That could act as like a support or whatever. Notice how we're respecting this level here from that 4 hour wick. But looking at this again, back to the 4 hour. YM traded up, back down internal. Bullish SMT. We could continue to shift higher if we want to get back up above this high here and then higher from there. It's just hard to read right now. We have ES hitting this for a value gap, but NQ is not. So that's a bearish sign to take out this low. We got a lot. If we draw a trend line here, we got a lot of liquidity down below this. So looking at this 5 minute inversion, it's looking like this could actually act as a potential short. So we have lower high here, higher high here, higher high here. So that's bearish on the 5 minute. The 3 minute, we're about to get a 3 minute inversion below this fair value gap here when this closes in 44 seconds. So I'm paying attention to that. And then 2 minute time frame. Notice how we have the higher high, lower high, and we're just consolidating. It's like, if it takes out this internal liquidity, does it just pop back in the range, or do we continue down? Or do we break up above and hit out this high and then come back down in the range, or what? Like, it's really just hard to read right now. So the macro just started 3 minutes ago, and I want to see if the macro wants to give it any direction. So we inverse this 3 minute here. So this new 3 minute opened with a bearish volume imbalance, as you can tell. Closed here, open here. There's a gap. So the beginning of this 3 minute candle is trading back into this inversion here. So does that mean that's going to leave it a wick and trade down? So we just want to pay attention to this. Or did it just take out that internal liquidity to sweep back up? Like, what's the big deal here? That's the real question. I don't know. I just don't see this as like high probability right now. There's opportunities to catch moves that we're shorting, opportunities to catch this little scalp up. We got this 1 minute order block now. So no, these all made a lower low. Notice that within this range. So from here to here, lower low. From here to here, lower low. From here to here, lower low. There's really no SMT based on that. So now, that 5 minute traded down below, and notice how this next one closed back in it, and this one just opened up above it. So what's this one do? Does it keep projecting like all these other wicks are doing? Or do we start to break up above? Yeah, trading like this can be very tedious, like if you don't know what you're looking for. And it's like seeing it over and over and over and over again, you'll know what you're looking for. And looking back in hindsight, I should have taken this, but I was telling myself I'm not going to break my rules because I need to see that higher time frame take liquidity. But this is just a nice internal scalp. This would have been a valid trade to trade up into here. This is high probability. This would be that is a high probability trade right there. I don't see that again over here. This 30-second here, this 30-second just inverse of this candle, it doesn't mean that we're going to go hit the high. But it could. We took out internal lows, and now we could be taking out these equal highs. But I don't want to trade that because it's not high probability to me. It's something I'll observe and watch. If it hits it, awesome. It just concludes the strategy even more in these low probability conditions. But notice how in a 5 minute you can't see that information, or a 15 minute you can't see that information. Like I couldn't tell from a 15 minute that we're going to go from here to like here. But you go down to the 30-second, you have swing high, equal highs, shift down lower, liquidity made, liquidity taken, a shift in the market structure with a 30-second inverse to go up above possibly this high. So there's a lot more information here, but just based on the conditions we're in, it's just going sideways. As soon as we get in here, we stop. As soon as we get down here, we go up. Then we break out, and then we come right back in. So it's like, do we break out here and then come right back in? Or do we like stop here, come back in, come back to the low, and then we shift up again later up to here? So it's 50-50 in my opinion right now. But I'm not trying to really guess it. Just from this consolidation, we hit this low, so I'm expecting this high and then this high. So I think that's higher probability versus this low again. But since we're just so sideways, anything's possible. Just like to watch it. Like it's not, nothing's like really being respected. You know, it's like we shifted down, we came up. down close candle, order block here. It hit it, came back, and it came right back down through it. So like it's not even respecting like these PD arrays. So like it's respecting this order block here. So there's down close. It took liquidity here. It's respecting this one. But it's like not respecting like a lot of the other ones. It's just a hard condition to trade in. Personally, for me, it's best not to trade it. It's just a wait. Let's see, we got a 11 o'clock opening in 2 minutes. Well, actually 1 minute now. Once that 11 o'clock opens, we should be good. We should be good to see if price wants to give some more movement here, or if it doesn't. Because you go to a 5 minute, this doesn't look probable at all. Go to a 5 minute, looks kind of lame. You go to a 9 minute, looks kind of lame. Go to a 15 minute, looks kind of lame. Go to a 1 hour, not as lame. It's like we're in a discount, as you can tell. We got the swing low down here. If we want to short down there, if we do start getting bearish closures, this could be a short down. But we'll see. Yeah, I'll be right back. I'll be back in like a minute. So we'll see what happens here. If a trade sets up, I'll look to take something. But if it doesn't, then I'm obviously not gonna. But I'll be on for like another 15 minutes. But I'll be right back. Oh wow, nothing happened. Still doing nothing right now. So in Jared Tendler's book, this is like what he talks about. He's like, a trade could be setting up in your time, and you might not see a setup right now, but it could change within the next like few minutes. And if you break your attention with something else and you like become bored, then you're not in the right state of like order flow. So your mind like isn't in like the right environment to be able to take advantage of a trade setup. So like when I'm in my A game trading game, like mentally, I'm all there. I'm focused on the chart and on order flow and like what price is really doing. Like where is it at the moment? Like I have so much stuff in my head right now that we have SMT here. We're in a higher time frame discount. We have liquidity lower that we get a hit here on ES. I have a lot just on my mind. And I also have like, we have this order block. We took liquidity with SMT there. We could go bullish. like, when you get bored, you kind of lose all sight of that, of like where you are in the chart. And if you get one bearish or bullish candle here, it's like you can get emotional and just take the trade. Oh, it looks like a trade setup, but you don't fully understand where you are on the chart. All right, looks like our macro is starting to move price down lower, which makes sense. Gun to my head now, it looks like we failed to make this swing high again. We got the lower highs here. So notice how a higher high, we have lower high, higher high, into a fair value gap. We're folding over, sell side liquidity. We have this entire trend line here on YM. From this low to this high, just draw a trend line. There's a lot of liquidity there that we could take out. If we break out of this range here, we could pay attention to this 5-minute inversion again if we break down below it. Doesn't mean take a trade, it means pay attention. Like what happens within that. So right now we're just consolidating this. This looks like shit. At one point or another, we're going to break out of this consolidation. It's just a matter of when. And that's like the nature of this. So like you might be on here like bored or like, okay, what's really happening? But you look at like 99% of successful traders, like they're just sitting here waiting. They're not trying to catch this little move from here to like here, you know? Like, yeah, something like this from here to here, that was valid. But they're not trying to catch like, oh, they're not trying to predict it from here, oh, we're going to get up here. Even if it does get up there, I'm okay with missing out on it. Like, that's what the best traders are doing. They're not trying to force anything. And I had to go into today. I was annoyed that I didn't trade PM session yesterday because there's some nice setups. And I had to go into today realizing like that doesn't matter. That if an opportunity that's A+ presents to me, then I'll take it. Trade it down. Let's just keep going to the higher time frame to really see what we're getting here. Discount, we can come back into since we came into a discount, we can come back into equilibrium, which is 50% of this. But honestly, we're still not getting much movement. We'll see. We'll see here sometimes at 11:10 if we're still not seeing movement. Sometimes at 11:10, it'll start spooling price in a direction. So what I mean by that is like the macro starts at 10:50 and it runs till 11:10. You can backtest this too if you need to. So is that 20-minute window? Sometimes right here we'll start the spooling of price in a direction and we'll just rip in a direction. So sometimes it'll just, notice how at 10:50 here we shot up and then we traded down. So this is the start of the macro. We'll see here, let's see when the macro ends. This could be the start of the spooling in a direction, or something like this. Take out the equal highs. Maybe there's SMT where this makes a higher high and the other ones make a lower high. We get an inversion. We retest the inversion and then send it down towards this low and this low. I don't know. But I just want to see something that we might start to see here. Doesn't mean it's going to come. This is boring to me, but like sometimes it doesn't. It's usually not this boring, you know. It's either take a trade by now. There's a trade that I already set up that I like, but here we go. Here we go. It's starting to move now, and this just happens to be like a trading time that I'm in. If I haven't taken a trade yet, then I'll sit here and I'll wait to see if there's an opportunity. And if not, then I'll just get off. Like yesterday. Like, I would prefer to be off by now. I'd prefer to be doing something else. But this is my work time right now. So I'm not trying to get distracted, even though I got other stuff to do in my other business, but this is it's all good. So take this off the charts. So we took out this high. Making a lower high here on YM. It's hard to see on the 1 hour, like we're in the discount, we're rejecting the discount, but we took out the high already here. She got the high here, and now we're just consolidating. We could just push up, or we could honestly come down. It's 50-50, and that's why I haven't taken, that's really why I haven't taken anything. So once we take external liquidity of this range, what's next? Internal. So it could be this low here, the 1103 low. Took out this high, left this high. So we're going to inverse this 30-second. We just inverse this 30-second candle. Let's see if this wants to sell off. So the macro, like I said, 11:10, the macro can like start. I want to pay attention to this 30-second inversion. Need some more information in here, though. We'll see if this wants to poke the high, if we want to stay below here. So let's pay attention to all this. So what is this 5 minute looking like? Because we just had a closure a minute ago. So we came up to this high and we instantly rejected it. Now we're coming back down into... You don't need 30-second. You just get more information on the 30-second. Here's this 30-second inversion. I'll put that up right here. The question is, do we accumulate here with more SMT in here? Like, do we hit this high and then we stay down in here? So we make a lower high, we make a higher high here. And then do we get another fair value gap with a shift lower to then take it down lower, down to this low? So like, this is just a fair value gap to monitor here. Let's see how this is looking now. You don't need these lower time frames. I'm just trying to show an example of like what we're seeing. So now we got these equal highs up here in YM. Get this down here. Probably just closed. 20 seconds left on that one. That's looking good. So we want to see this still close down below here. Necessarily wouldn't want to see this high broken now. You'd want to see it work and gravitate towards this low now for 20 points. Still not my favorite type of setup. I don't like taking like 30-second trades in the eval. But I took it on the paper account again. Right here. So we just hit that low. So I'm going to take 2 off. I move the last one to break even. So it's up 3,300 on the day. Just that little move right there. Just based on a 30-second. And I was mapping that out before too. I don't know if you fully remember. I said maybe like when the macro ends at 11:10, like I was saying, like we took out this high right before the macro ended, and we shifted down below the 30-second. And I want to watch this 30-second. So I ended up just taking a short on the paper because it's not, like I said, I don't like trading in consolidation like this on an eval. But I'll still paper and then I'll still tape read and I'll record it in my notes. So that's really what I was looking for. But yeah, that was a pretty nice setup. Not bad, not bad. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, I was saying looking like this could buy up to these equal highs, which it did. It just had to pull back down more, and then it traded up. And once we hit liquidity, we shifted our structure. We had all of these, let's see here. Made the high, traded back down. So yeah, this one made a lower high compared to this one. So now we just inverse this. Look at this. We just inverse this fair value gap here on the 30-second after taking out this internal low that we were targeting from here. I want to see if it wants to buy up from here. I'm not taking that. I'm just watching it. Like, I don't like that one. This one's not nearly as nice as what it was over here. Just watching it. Because look at these equal highs here now on YM. We trade into a discount. A candle that took liquidity. We just inverse this 1 minute here. And this inverse could send it up to these equal highs here. Like I said, I don't want to take that because it could just pull right back down. But I'm just watching this one. Oh, that trade never hit the break even either from the short. On the last position I had on. Yeah, the last paper position I had on never even hit break even. Because I had 3 contracts on this one, but I left one as a runner. Let's see if it'll come back down towards this long-term low down here. That'd be cool. But like, since you're just consolidating, anything can really happen. I don't really care. Yeah. All right. Well, that was a pretty good move. Just like understanding this order flow and this consolidation. So I would say today, like there was, for me personally, I only liked, there was a few setups. There was a short that was up here below this 30-second inversion, in my opinion, when that closed right there. This one I didn't like that much, even though it was inversed. I just didn't like the bearish bias because we had SMT and we took out a low already. I didn't like anything within here, even though this inversed here. I didn't like that buy up just because we didn't have SMT really. But then we had SMT here, and this, I like this inverse better. I just didn't take the trade because we only took this liquidity, and we did have higher time frame lows on ES that I thought we could have taken. But then we consolidated in this whole range here. We broke out of the range, so we have this entire range now. So when we break out of the range, and if we shift back in, we can look for an inversion, which is here. So the plan is of a range. We got external, external, and then we have internal, internal. Okay. So when we hit external, where should we expect to go to? Internal. So we look at this, and it's inversed. It could come back up and give us more SMT here. That's possible. But based on this inversion, when we just hit this high, it inversed it, and then it just shorted down our 20 points. So that's what I was looking at. Not financial advice. It's just what I'm monitoring. What I've been studying like the past, I don't know, year or so. Is these inverse models. I don't know. I trade on MT4, 5. I used to, and then I used to be funded with my my Forex funds, and then my Forex funds went under. So my funded account was gone after I got a payout. So then after they left, I was trading a live account on Hugo's Way, and then they banned me, I guess, from, because they had like delayed data. So I turned like a few $100 into like, I don't know, like 100 grand or something. And then I withdrew like, I think it let me withdraw like $1,000 or like $2,000 out of like the 100 grand that I made. And then they basically audited my account and said I was using like the delayed data, and I was like, I told them I wasn't, but it's just like it was their platform that had like a delay. So I ended up just going from there, you know. So I stopped using Hugo's Way. I was like, you know what, Top Step seems pretty cool. ICT's son is using Top Step. They're pretty good. So I trade this. I trade this now. Top Step. Let's see. Yeah, right here. This is just what I trade now. I just trade the futures now on here. I got the 50K. So I'm trading 50K. Once I get funded again and then I get my payout, I'll just go for 150K. It's just bigger numbers. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just looking for A+ setups, you know. I'm not trying to look for like these mediocre little 30-second. This isn't even A+. This inverse, this just proves that the inverse works right here. But this isn't an A+, I would say. I need to have better conditions. This here, just based on the higher time frame too, I would say this is a B setup, and I would say this is also like a B setup. But like on my eval, I'm looking for A+. Yeah, but that's why I don't trade like MT4, MT5. I just find it easier, and then Top Step just hooks right up to Trade of 8. And I can hook my Trade of 8 up here too as well. So like I can log in to Trade of 8 and then go right here. I was going crazy on this paper account earlier, but yeah, so here's this, and then here's the paper account. Oh, I should take that buy limit off, because I could just trade it right on here. So here's the short I took right there, and the break even. And here's the buy from earlier. I ended up taking buys here. I took that short. I don't even really remember what I did here. I was just like papering this, but papered. Let's see what I even did here. But yeah, I took a buy here, and I just held it in drawdown a little bit because I was looking at the SMT. And then I came back up. I took more buys here, and then I started taking partials here. So that was kind of like a turtle soup. I could have entered here, but I could have entered more here. But I waited for that inverse to happen. That's why I wasn't like a huge fan of that. But then we had this inverse here. Took the partials, but like this was like the nice one. Took that, and then ended up taking this short here. Come right down. So once we inverse that, we traded back into it. Just took the short right here. Right in the 5 second. Look at the 5 second too. Taking the short on the 30-second inverse, and then take a profit down here. The last one, it break even. But yeah, you can just trade this like right on here. Not bad for the day. 3 grand. Yeah, just paper though. Just paper. But and then the other account that I'm trading, I'll show you the other ones. This other one started at 50, I'm at 52. And then the other one I started at 50, I'm at 51, 459. So it's just I haven't seen a setup today or yesterday yet that I wanted to take on this account. You know, I'm not trying to gamble it away. I'm trying to just be conservative with it. But yeah, I'm going to get going. Appreciate you being on here. I like doing this. I like recording myself just because like I'll go back and I'll watch it like when I take a trade. And it's kind of like a sports player. Like they watch their plays afterwards. And anybody else that wants to get on and watch and learn and see how I trade, then awesome. Yeah, like I'm not really trying to grow this channel. Like I don't even post it on Twitter that I'm like live streaming really. I just do it just to watch later, and then like whoever wants to learn can learn, and then I'll see how my growth is. Like I'll look back in a year. Like I look back like a year from now from like what I used to do, and so much has really changed. Like it's crazy like how much I've grown, and I just started really diving deep into like my psychology like at the end of last year, and now right now it's like I'm just like really diving deep into the psychology. So like in a year from now, I'm just really excited to see where I'm going to be psychologically. And it's like it was hard for me to take a loss before, but now it's like it's easier. Even though I've been funded before and like had a payout and then like all this other stuff. It's that I wouldn't call it luck. I mean, like my strategy still worked. I still had a good equity curve, but I did battle with like a lot of emotions. So now I'm looking to really accelerate to like do really well, I guess you could say. So like without focusing on the money, like this, like the 2 grand I made on the 50 grand account, like that's cool and all, but like I don't want that to really affect my performance in a way. Like it's like, okay, oh well, if I make 15 grand, oh well, if I make 3 grand, oh well, if I lose 2 grand, whatever, like it doesn't really matter. So I don't know. I used to write down like my goals, like every year, like, oh, I can't wait to get like $1 million of funding and be funded and do all this and like get 30 grand of payouts. But like now it's like, okay, I don't really care. Like it'd be nice to get that, and that's like the overall goal, obviously. But this year, I didn't even write down a money goal. Like I wrote down, I want to follow my systems and processes this year and stick with that. And if the money comes, the money comes, you know. But yeah, that's about it. I'll see you later. Take it easy. Peace out.